My name is Jared James. If you aren't familiar with me, I'm best known as an entrepreneur that gets the unique opportunity to coach and train agents and brokers in the real estate world and speak at conferences in front of thousands of people. But it wasn't always that way for me. What separates me from so many others is that I've actually done everything that I want you to be able to do. For that reason, this is the place to come if you want to learn the strategies needed to succeed in today's marketplace. This is the Jared James Today Show.
Hey everybody, and welcome to episode 6 of the Jared James Today Show. First off, just want to say thank you to so many of you that have been watching, that have been, if you like this video, I want you to actually like it, like hit a thumbs up below there. Like, is that Mentos where they do that? I don't remember. But hit a thumbs up, leave a comment. I always love that. I love responding. Make sure you subscribe to this channel because we're trying to put out as much information as possible with the sole purpose of helping you. Okay, so make sure you do that. Go to also, we can link it up here, connectwithjared.com, and you can connect on all different places. Send me a message on Snapchat, ask a question. I always get back to everybody who sends me a message, so make sure you're doing that. Today, though, we're going to talk about 7 ways that you can create transactions as a real estate agent. So I think this is going to be something that a lot of you are going to get a lot of value from, whether you're an individual, whether you're a part of a team, whatever it happens to be. I am going to assume that you are going to watch this through the prism of whatever you happen to be coming from, okay? So you can make it work for you as a team, an individual, a broker, whatever it happens to be, okay? So 7 ways you can create transactions. One of the things that I just want to preface before we do this is something that I tell our coaches all the time. We have a large coaching agency. We coach a lot of realtors on how to have more predictable businesses, set up systems, processes, the whole thing. And one of the things that we always train our coaches is that in today's world, you can't be ideological. You can't think, well, I'll do that, but I don't do that. Well, that doesn't work anymore, and this does. Every single thing that I'm going to talk about 100% works, okay? I always like to use the example that, a turtle and a giraffe have 2 completely different perspectives, okay? And it's not that a turtle is lying, it's just that a turtle is always coming from a different perspective. If both a turtle and a giraffe told you what was coming a mile down the road, who would you believe? It's a pretty easy question, but let's face it, again, the turtle's not lying. It's just that that turtle can't see over the blades of grass, okay? I come from the perspective, I'm a giraffe. I get to see everything that's going on all around North America and beyond, and so everything I'm going to talk about absolutely not only works, but we see it working constantly with many of our students, with many of the people that follow us, with all of that stuff, okay? Now, I'm going to cover some old school stuff. I'm going to cover some new school stuff. I came from the old school. I grew up in this industry. Believe it or not, for some of you watching right now, the phone book used to be used for more than propping up children. Okay, it actually used to be almost like modern day Google. And I came from that world. So we're going to talk about some of the stuff that still works in old school. We're going to talk about new school. I want you to understand we're not going to talk about every single way you can create business in this industry because there's way too many to mention. I'm just going to talk about 7 specific ones that I think will help you, okay? I have this belief about this industry, and that is, look, there's bad things that happen, and there's nothing you can do about it, okay? And it's okay to have a bad day. It's okay to have a bad week. It's okay to have a bad month. It is not okay to have a bad 1099, okay? And if you're in this industry, you know exactly what I'm talking about. A bad 1099 speaks to bad patterns, speaks to bad inner narratives, speaks to the fact that you don't have enough of the things I'm going to talk about going on right now. It speaks to the fact that you've probably gotten very ideological about what creates business, and it's why you don't have as much business going on as you should. Others of you that are watching this are doing just fine. You know that over half of the new coaching students we sign up, the one-on-one students, are people that if you knew them, you'd be like, what do they need a coach for? They're doing great. And you think they're doing great, but the bottom line is they're leaving stuff on the table because their potential is so much higher. And so we're going to cover some of those things. There's much more to discuss, but what I want for you today, unless you're driving in the car or listening to this while you work out, this is one of those shows where you're going to want to take a lot of notes, okay? So make sure you have the ability to do that. Open up Microsoft Word, whatever's going to work for you, and take a lot of notes. Let's get started, guys. Again, old school, new school. First thing I want to talk about, one way of the 7 that you create transactions is one that you're all very familiar with. You all know it very well, so I won't take that long to cover it, but it's referrals, okay? You know referrals. It's the way that most of you make business. It's the way that causes the least amount of rejection. It's the way, it's the thing that most of you like. But referrals, as much as you hear me say all the time that we don't just believe in referrals and that they don't create a predictable business, we also love referrals. I mean, when I was selling real estate, that was a huge part of my business. So I'm not down on referrals. I love referrals, and I want you to get more referrals. I just want to make sure you're doing other things as well. But if you want to create more referrals in your business, one of the things I want you to do that we teach all of the people in our program is something called the Core 100. One of the #1 ways that I created business when I was selling real estate. We can link up right here. Are we on this side? Yes? Yes? We can link up right here with a video to that, so you can go and watch and learn all about the Core 100 and how it works. If you're going to do that, make sure you pause it after you link it up there and finish watching this video, okay? So go for it. Core 100. Another way that you can create a lot of referrals, we do a lot of things, we do something with our students called the pizza order form. It's so simple, it's stupid, and yet it's genius. And it's this pizza order form that we have as part of their systems, because you better have systems, you better have a CRM. And what it does is about a week before one of your clients is going to close, this pizza order form goes out to them, and it asks them questions like, when are you moving? Not when are you closing, when are you moving? Who's going to be there? How many pizzas would you like delivered? What kind of drinks would you like delivered? And all of these kinds of things. You know why it does it? And by the way, who's going to deliver the pizza? Who's going to deliver the drinks? Who's going to go and eat with them and whatever? You are. Why? Because as long as they're not using a mover, who generally are the people that are helping other people move? It's their closest friends and family. Who are you as the realtor trying to get referred to? Their closest friends and family. And so wouldn't you agree that there's a different level of context than when they just say, use my realtor, but they've never met you, never anything? And when you actually sit down with them, have some pizza, have a drink, talk to them, and now naturally they're just bringing up real estate? It's genius, and it works to create referrals, okay? If you're in our program right now, that's on your dashboard, that template, go get it. It's worth a lot of money to you, okay? Second way we can create transactions, and again, some of these guys you're doing, some of these you're not, so pay attention for the whole video. The second way, another way you can create transactions as a real estate agent is through investors. Now, this is one that I think is way undervalued, and not enough people are actually leveraging this, okay? Investors. Investors, people who buy and sell properties, they flip properties, they get cash flow properties, they wholesale, they do whatever it is. These are people, if you're looking for a stable revenue stream for your real estate business, investors are an amazing group of people to be working with, because whether the market's good or the market's bad, they're always doing what? Their job, which is to invest. Now, how do you get in front of them? How do you start to work with them? How do you, depending on where you are in North America or the world, there's different, especially in North America, there's things called REIAs, Real Estate Investors Associations, but there's all sorts of other types of investor groups in your area that you can find out just by Googling and figure out what they are. Most of them meet about once a month, and guess who needs to be at those meetings? Because generally speaking, if somebody is willing to go to a monthly investor meeting, they're probably a more serious investor. And during these investor meetings, they'll actually have a time of networking where people go around and talk. They talk about deals they can have together. They talk about, you know, whatever. There's hard money lenders there. Everybody gets to know each other. And what are you going to do? You're going to go with a stack of business cards. You're going to start meeting people. They're going to tell you what type of investor they are. And then you're going to say something like, hey, I'm actually a realtor that specializes in finding good deals for investors like yourself. Find out what kind of investor they are. What separates me is that I usually am able to find deals before other people. I hear about things before other people. And when things even go on the market, I'm the first one that's notified, and I'm able to bring those to you. Would you like me to put you on my list? Now, what investor doesn't want to be on your list to potentially be getting access to properties before the people they're up against? Because that's the only game for them. They don't care who the realtor is they work with. They just want to get to deals before other people. So what investor would say no to that? They're going to be like, of course I do. And then you're going to start finding out, are they a flip investor? You know, where do they look? What type of properties? Are they a buy and hold investor, a cash flow investor? Are they a wholesaler? You want to do a little research so you know what these things mean. But once you have that, literally, it's just a matter of go on your MLS. Save a search in your MLS that comes directly to you whenever properties come up that have certain terms in the description. Sold as is, pre-approval required, like handyman special, all of these kinds of things. Anytime it comes up, have it saved, and it comes directly to you, and you have a list of investors you work with. that you know what they specialize in, what area they look for, and now you're able to give those to them right away. When I sold real estate, it was one of the quickest ways for me to make transactions happen. And what's really cool about these people is they generally don't have a long process. They close in 2 to 3 weeks. They have no inspections. They have almost no contingencies. They're going in with cash offers, which aren't actually cash. It's hard money lenders giving them a line of credit, but it shows up to the sellers as cash. And now you get to be the person that puts those together, make that transaction, make that commission, form that relationship. And by the way, the more of these that you start to sell, the more the word gets out that you work with investors. And guess what's going to happen with the REO agents and other people who get great deals? Who are they going to call first? They're going to call you. This is still a relationship business, and that means relationship all the way around, not just you staying in contact with your customers, but also how it works on the whole process. So you have to leverage that, okay? Third way of the 7 that you can create transactions is prospecting. It's the part you all hate. It's the one you all hate, but it's a reality. And by the way, prospecting is anything that has the potential to create new business, okay? Now, I'm going to specifically talk about really quickly expireds, FSBOs, FSBOs, for sale by owners, FSBO, fastest and shortest business opportunity, although prospecting is a lot of different things. So I'll cover a couple of really quick things about this. But remember, this is not an episode just on prospecting, so I can't hit every area of it. But let's talk about these specifically, okay? When I say don't get ideological, I talk to way too many people that when you talk about FSBOs, expireds, these things, too many agents that tell me, I don't do that. I don't, that's not how I do business. That's not what I do. And my response is always, that's not what you do. You mean you don't sell homes? Because I don't know anyone on this planet you're going to talk to who wants to sell their house more than an expired listing or a for sale by owner. The truth is we just don't know exactly what to say to them. We've been taught in this industry to lie to them right off the bat. You talk to a for sale by owner, and what's the number one reason they always want to sell? They need to make enough money, right? And then when you talk to them and they say, well, do you have a buyer for my property? What do you always say? Well, yes, I do. Which everyone knows is complete nonsense. How do you know if you have a buyer for a property you've never seen? So right off the bat, they know you're full of it. They know you're just another one of these 14 people that's contacted them, and they don't believe you, they don't trust you, and now they're never going to work with you. Stop lying to these people. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to go on forsalebuyowner.com or one of these other places where their numbers are listed. They're trying to sell it. You've got their number, and you call them up. And instead of saying, hi, this is so-and-so from so-and-so Realty, which they expect, which every other agent does, instead you're going to go, hi, is this the owner of whatever the property is? And you're going to effectively throw off their pattern because they're used to people starting differently, and now they're going to be thinking, is this a buyer? Is this the owner of? Well, yes, it is. Now you start going into this is so-and-so from so-and-so Realty, and they're going to say, look, I'm not listing my house with a realtor. And you're going to say, I'm not trying to list your house. Because the goal when you call one of these people and you prospect is not to list the property at first. It's to get an appointment, okay? You've got to slow down the process a little bit. You've got to earn their trust. And so they're going to say, I'm not listing my property. And you're going to say, I'm not trying to list the property. And they're going to go, well, do you have a buyer? And you're going to say, I don't know if I have a buyer. I haven't seen your property yet. And they're going to know that that's an honest answer. And then you're going to say, but as an expert in this area, I really believe that I need to know everything that's on the market. And I pride myself on knowing all the inventory that's out there, and that includes your property. So I know if it matches one of my buyers, whatever. I'm going to be in your area tomorrow around 4 o'clock. Do you mind if I stop by? And you're going to have this kind of a conversation. And now you're going to get in the door. And you're going to go to that house, and you're going to walk around. You're going to check it out. You're even going to offer them some free marketing tips to help them out. But you know in the back of your head that 83% of all these for sale by owners end up selling with who? A realtor. It's just a matter of who they're going to sell with, and you have to be an option. So stop trying to close them when they're not ready to be closed. And when you leave that appointment, they're going to say, do you have buyers for it now? And you're going to say, I'm going to go back, I'm going to talk to them, I'm going to whatever, I'm not quite sure, 100%, or you might have buyers for it. It's very honest, you might have buyers for it, but you're also going to say to them, hey, do you mind, as part of what I can do for you, I've met you now, one of the things you need to sell your property is you need to know the competition and the properties that hit the market that are competition for yours. You should know what's out there. Do you mind if I contact you from time to time and let you know what's come on that you need to know about? And they're always going to say, yeah, sure, let me know. And now what's happened is you've opened up that bridge, and now you have a reason to keep contacting them. And when they become one of those 83% that do list with a realtor, guess who's going to be a numero uno, the person who they think of to sell their home? You, because you gave them value, okay? And that's a really crucial point that we need to understand, okay? When you're doing this, when you're talking about prospecting and going after people, it's very simple, guys. Make the calls. Why do we avoid making the calls to these people? Because every time we call them, there's a chance that they'll say what? No. But I want you to switch that around, and I want you to say, every time I call them, there's a chance that they'll say yes. Okay? I posted something on Instagram earlier today that said, stop thinking, start doing. We're always thinking about, I know I should do that. I think we should do that. Sooner or later, I have to do that. Let me tell you something I know for sure. Thinking about going to the gym doesn't burn 1 calorie, okay? And thinking about what you should be doing in your business makes you $0. There is a time to contemplate, there is a time to think, but there is a time to act. And not enough of you are actually implementing and going out and acting on what it is you think you should do, which I promise you guarantees your result. So let's talk about number 4, the fourth way that you can create transactions, and that's an obvious one. It's online leads. If you've been following me for any amount of time, you know what I know. 92 to 96% of people are starting online, and you have to, in 2016, or whenever you're watching this video, 2018, 2000, whatever it is, I know that you shouldn't be marketing like it's 1983, okay? So whether in your area, there's an ROI on Zillow or Trulia or these places, or Google, if you're buying search terms on Google, because this is where people are hanging out, every one of you should be leveraging Facebook ads. We actually have a marketing department that does nothing but create seller leads for people on places like Facebook. If you want to learn more about that, you can link up here to see what we do. Okay, go ahead and click on that. And at the same time, if you just want to learn how to do it, you know you should, you've heard about it, but you're just not doing it yet, you can also link up right here to a free training I did on how to create leads on social. Okay? And so you need to learn how to do that because, bottom line, it's 2016. Okay? I don't want to spend a ton of time talking about that. I think we all kind of know that that's where you need to be. People go, I don't do the internet lead thing. Guys, internet leads are what? They're people. It's no different. People are like, oh, I don't want to go to a social platform. What is another social platform? It's people. All of those profiles, all of those users, all of those leads, all of those, they're just people. Whether you're meeting them face-to-face right now and I'm talking to you, or whether you're emailing back and forth, or whether you're commenting on a status, or whether you're snapping them a message, it's a person behind that. And you can't forget that because that is what makes your business go. Okay? Let's talk about number 5. Number 5, the 5th way that you can create transactions as a real estate person is to leverage either your own or your broker's listings, okay? Now keep in mind, a lot of times I talk about this and people go, but I don't have listings yet, okay? Well, you can still leverage your brokers as long as you get their permission. You hear me say all the time, in order to catch the mice, you've got to have the cheese, okay? It's that simple. I had somebody write me recently, God, people out there, once you start hitting the internet, they're like, I can't believe that you are comparing people and saying that people are mice. And I'm like, are you a moron? Like, I'm not saying people are mice no more than I'm saying a house is a piece of cheese. I'm using an example that makes sense that certain things are attracted to certain things. If you want to catch sharks, you throw chum in the water, right? If you want them to swim around. If you want mice, cheese. If you want buyers or sellers or whatever it may be, you need listings, because that is what they're attracted to. So I want you to take either your listings or your broker's listings if you get their permission, and I want you to start doing Facebook promoted posts using the demographics of going after renters, first-time buyers, these kinds of things. I want you, when you create those posts for either coming soon or new listing or whatever kind of a post you're going to create, I want you to make sure that you leave out the price of the property, the location of the property, and have a strong call to action at the end that tells them how to contact you. And why are we doing that? Because even if the property that you're putting out there as the bait doesn't fit their price range or isn't in the exact area they want, we still want them to have to contact you because now you're talking to a potential buyer. Okay? At the same time, when you have listings, we have a template we use with our students called the Show Off Your Neighborhood. That's a great one to send out to people because who sells a neighborhood like neighbors? It also has a part in that letter that we talk about all the time that says, by the way, your neighbor's property being listed may have changed the value of yours. If you or someone you know is thinking about it and wants to know how it's changed, please give me a call. Strong calls to action. If you notice what we're doing here, guys, all along this episode is we're always throwing out a ton of hooks in different ways and different streams and different, because if you're relying on 1, 2, or 3 right now, I always say you're 1, 2, 3 days away from going broke. You need a lot of lines in the water. You need a lot of potential streams to be coming in, and this is another one of those. What about open houses when you have a listing or one of your broker's listings? Open houses don't work. No. Your follow-up systems don't work. Your advertising it in the Sunday paper doesn't work. But what wouldn't work about people showing up on a Sunday or a Saturday, taking time out of their day to go look at a house? There's obviously some bit of interest. There has to be. But what we have to work on is our follow-up systems, our follow-up processes for the long term, because just because they walked into that house and didn't go, oh my God, my life is complete, I've finally run into you, will you represent me in the sale of my home or the purchase of another? Doesn't mean that they weren't serious. It just means that it takes time and you have to build context and you have to have an actual business structure in place that makes them feel comfortable and converts them at the time that they're actually ready to be converted. Okay? Let's talk about number 6. Number six way to create transactions as a real estate agent is your outbound proactive marketing. Outbound proactive marketing. This includes many things. I'm not covering everything here, okay? And all of these templates and such are available to all of our students, but one of them is something we call the Great Time to Invest that goes out to our whole database, and it's a letter that goes out to our database and lets them know that part of our job as their realtor, even beyond a buy or a sale, is to always let them know about opportunities and how investing is a great time right now and how there's low interest rates, increasing prices, and all of the stuff and the deals that you have, you're able to take advantage of, and the things that you see the general market doesn't see, and it's another way to pull people in. Another one is the buyer's offer not accepted. Okay, that's another template we use, which part of systems is having a direct reaction to any action. And so when you go and make an offer on a property for one of your buyers and it's not accepted, that is an opportunity to create business. Did you know that? We know through predictive analytics, when a house goes up for sale, within 30 days another house is going to come up, within 6 months 2 to 3 more. So predictive analytics tells us that when we make an offer on a property and it's not accepted, that means the property is listed, which means what's going to happen in 30 days, what's going to happen in 6 months. So we have a letter that goes out to the nearest 50 or 100 houses about buyer's offer not accepted, and it basically says, hey, my buyer's made an offer on your neighbor's property over at blah blah blah. Unfortunately, it wasn't accepted. I'm sure you're not. I'm sure that you're not surprised that they absolutely love this neighborhood and they're active right now. If you or someone you know is even thinking about selling right now, please let me know. I may be able to sell it without it even hitting the market. I can't promise they'll buy your property, but I can promise I bring it to their attention. Just another opportunity to get in front of potential sellers. Okay. What about another one? The buyer neighborhood letter. Same premise. You go out and you show a property. How many properties have you shown that your buyers did not buy? Probably plenty. Those are opportunities to create new business, because if they went and looked at the property, it's listed. If it's listed, that means within 30 days, within 6 months. We're following the same pattern now. So a letter goes out, buyer neighborhood letter. I just showed my buyers, name, 2 dog, whatever it is, your neighbor's property over at blah last Tuesday at 3 p.m. As I'm sure you're not surprised, they absolutely love the neighborhood, but the house wasn't exactly for them. Here's what they're looking for. When you describe just about every house in the neighborhood, one of the things I pride myself on is not just showing them houses that are available to the open public, but actually finding things that they would have no access to. If you or someone you know is actually thinking about selling, please let me know right away, because I've got active buyers. I can't guarantee that they'll buy it, but I can guarantee I'll bring it to their attention. The same verbiage, but it's a system over and over and over. Do you know how many clients that brings in for our clients? How many listings, how many buyers, because people want to work with agents who are proactively trying to find properties that aren't openly available. Do you know how many that brings in for our students? It's crazy, but it's consistent over and over and over, and that's what has to happen. Let's talk about the 7th way. And there are many other ways, guys. I'm just covering a little bit right now, and I'm whetting your appetite for the idea that you know you could be doing more. And so the 7th way, something you hear me talk about all the time, having proper systems in place. Okay? if I can, let me just throw out a little yogiism right now. You don't remember what you've forgotten, okay? Many of you either pay for a CRM, a customer relationship manager, contact relationship manager, or you don't have one at all. You pay for one and you use it as an online Rolodex, but you're not really using it for the systems that it could be used for. But a true system in place, there's so many places I can go with this, but I'm just kind of touching the, the surface of what I need to for the sake of this video. But it needs to tell you when the home anniversaries are of every single person you've worked for so that you can call them, so you can send them a gift card for a cup of coffee, so you can stay in touch because, as you've heard me say over and over again, 89% of all buyers and sellers say they'll work with you again, and only 11% actually do because we are not staying in touch and we're not finding valuable reasons to stay in touch. That's what your CRM should be doing. It should be letting you know when their birthdays are so you can send them special gifts, make them feel special. You need to have a system in place so that all of your leads, your internet leads who don't act like referrals, are being followed up with for minimum 24 months. Minimum 24 months. And after that 24 months, it's going into another system where now it just follows up with them once every 6 months, once every quarter, once every, whatever it happens to be, after sending a reminder to you to follow up and say, hey, are you still in the market? Are you still? So you're always following up with people even from 2 years ago. Your systems in place are making you money because when you first come in contact with somebody, you have an actual system in place that's automated, but it automates you doing stuff. So it does some things you don't have to do. It's sending a mixture of emails that look real, video, text messages, social, like a lot of these things. But what it's also doing is it's popping up to you, and this is part of what your systems do as well. They have a call list that tell you every day who you're supposed to contact and what you're supposed to contact them about. And this is the 6th step of the process you're on with them. And here's what's happened in the other 5. They've opened or not opened. They've responded. They haven't responded. And on this 6th step, when you call them, here's exactly what you're supposed to say, okay? And here's why you're saying it. This is how you convert. And this is what systems do. Systems also allow you, if you have a team, to be implementing this with the people under you and allowing you to actually keep track of everything that's going on and knowing when people are doing their job and not doing their job, when people are responding, and conversion ratios. So, because when you have a team under you, you can't have one person say these leads suck and the other person says these leads are great. This person's closing at 6%. This person's closing at 1%. The person that's closing at 1%, we got to go, wait a second, you're getting the same leads. So let's figure out what's happening here. That's what systems do for you. They make you money because they hold people accountable and they follow a process, whether you remember to or not, that makes you stick with a plan so that not only do you make money, but you don't lose money that you would have had, which is happening right now with so many of you. Those are 7 very simple things. Again, there's so many more, but the question I want you to ask yourself right now is, are you leaving business on the table? If you're being 100% honest with yourself, are you leaving business on the table right now? Either because you don't want to do something, you don't have your systems and processes in place, you're not running your business like a business, you're not following certain campaigns and certain techniques and certain... If you're the best option for the people in your area during the 3rd most stressful time in their life, death, divorce, and moving, you have to take it more serious about being sure that you're an option and you're in front of them, whichever way that is that you have to get in front of them, okay? If you've watched this right now and you're like, you know what? I know that I'm leaving business on the table. I want to do a consultation for one-on-one coaching. I'll actually do it with you. We'll set them up. It's probably going to be a lot of them, but I'll talk to you personally and see if it's worth it. You can click right over here. Get a consult set up. There's no obligation. It's probably going to take about an hour or so, but let's talk about your business. Let's see if there's something that can be done. Let's actually take you to the place that you belong, not just where you're currently at. Some of you are fine where you're at, but you've got no systems in place, and so you're going crazy and you're afraid to go on vacation. We don't want that to happen, okay? At the same time, if you've enjoyed this, I want you to hit the thumbs up on this video. I want you to leave me a comment. I want you, please, subscribe to this channel. It helps us greatly. There's a ton of free stuff like this that I put out on a regular basis. As I mentioned earlier, go to connectwithjared.com. Follow on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, and like I said, subscribe on YouTube. But more than anything, guys, follow on Snapchat. I'm at Jared James Today. Send me a message. It's where I put out 90% of my content every single day, and I do nothing but answer people back all day and help you out. Make sure you do that. If you're not on there yet, you will be very soon, so you might as well get on the bandwagon now. Like I said, guys, subscribe here. I look forward to talking to so many of you in the very near future. Have a great day. I'll talk to you soon. Hey there, you, and I am talking to you in particular, person that made it to the end of my video. It means the world to me. But if you made it to the end, I'm hoping that you'll take a second and subscribe right here. Make sure you share that with all your friends, by the way. They're in real estate, sales, entrepreneurial, whatever it happens to be. By the way, if you're looking for a speaker for your upcoming event, click right here to get some more information. And as usual, if you have a question you want me to personally respond, just connect on social. You can click right over here and see all the platforms I'm on. I hope to hear from you soon. Have a great one.